Listen to me. Life doesn't hand out explanations. Life doesn't always tell you why it's doing what's doing, but it's doing. But I'm here to tell you, everything happens for a reason. And I don't mean that in a soft cliche way. I mean that in a real deep, powerful way that can change your life forever if you choose to see it. You didn't go through all that pain for nothing. You didn't get rejected, abandoned, lied to, tested, betrayed, and broken down just to stay broken. There was a reason for every tear, a reason for every sleepless night, a reason for every door that closed in your face. Every time you thought you were being buried, you were being planted. We go through life expecting that if we do the right thing, work hard, treat people right, and stay focused, everything will just fall into place. But reality doesn't always work like that. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, things fall apart. You give your all, and it still ends in disappointment. You stay loyal, and you still get betrayed. You work overtime. You grind through the pain, and still, the result doesn't reflect the effort. And in those moments, it's easy to feel like you're being punished. It's easy to think life has something against you. But what you're calling punishment is really preparation. That pain isn't there to tear you down. It's there to sharpen you, to mold you, to build in you something that comfort never could. See, when everything's going good, when the road is smooth, you don't really change. You don't really learn. You don't dig deeper. You don't question your patterns. You don't grow at the core. But when the pressure hits, when life knocks you down and the things you counted on start slipping away, that's when something real happens inside of you. That's when your character starts being shaped. That's when your endurance gets tested. That's when you start to see who you really are. Because the version of you that's ready to fulfill your destiny is not the same version that started the journey. So life has to take you through some stuff. It has to break your ego. It has to shake your comfort. It's to strip you of things that no longer serve where you're going. And that process hurts, but it's necessary. Think about the season. Before the tree can bloom again, it has to shed its leaves. It has to go through a period that looks like death, that feels like loss. But it's not dying, it's preparing for the next level. That's what pain does. It strips you down so you can grow stronger roots. It takes away what's superficial so you can become solid. Pain shows you where the weakness is so you can reinforce it. It exposes what you've been ignoring, what you've been avoiding, what you've been too comfortable to change. And that's the thing. Pain is the teacher comfort will never be. Pain will show you more about yourself in one day than success will in a year. It reveals your priorities. It reveals your mindset. It reveals your grit. When you're in pain, you don't have the luxury to fake it. You can't hide behind titles, followers, or appearances. You have to face the truth about your discipline, about your focus, about your belief system. And that's exactly what preparation is about. You can't go to the next level pretending to be something you're not. You have to be real. You have to be grounded. You have to be resilient. And that kind of strength isn't developed on easy roads. It's developed in the fire. There are things you're asking for, breakthroughs, platforms, opportunities that require you to become someone different. You're asking for elevation, but elevation has weight. It has responsibility. It has pressure. And if you're not built for it, it will crush you. So life doesn't say no to punish you. It puts you in a fire to prepare you. That delay you're mad about, that wasn't denial. That was time to build up your character. That relationship that fell apart, that wasn't failure. That was life protecting your energy. That job you didn't get, that wasn't rejection. That was redirection. Because the version of you that applied wasn't the version that could handle what was coming next. Everything you thought was holding you back was really setting you up. The pain, the confusion, the frustration, it was all part of the blueprint. And it wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. You weren't being punished. You were being pulled out of complacency, pulled out of mediocrity, pulled out of your comfort zone. Because there's a version of you that can't be accessed until you've been through the fire. There's a mindset, a work ethic, a sense of clarity that only shows up when everything else has been stripped away. Growth never feels good in the moment. It's not glamorous. It doesn't come with applause or recognition. Growth is raw, uncomfortable, and often lonely. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. Too many people want the result without the process. They want the rewards of growth without going through the discomfort that growth demands. They want the strength without lifting the weight. But it doesn't work that way. Every level of your life will require a deeper level of you. You can't evolve by staying the same. And the only thing that forces change is discomfort. When you're in a place that feels uncomfortable, mentally, emotionally, physically, that's the ground where transformation is possible. It's in those moments when you want to quit, when you doubt yourself, when fear creeps in, that your true potential is tested. Nobody grows on the mountaintop. You grow in the valley. You grow when the world says a no, and you say, watch me. You grow when your back is against the wall and you have to fight for the version of you you haven't even met yet. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's the invitation to a new you. It's the friction that sharpens your edge, the pressure that unlocks your strength. We've been conditioned to run from pain, to avoid anything that makes us feel stretched, challenged, or vulnerable. But if you avoid discomfort, you also avoid growth. You stay in the same pattern, the same relationships, the same mindset, wondering why nothing's changing. It's because you're not willing to go where growth lives. And growth doesn't live in convenience. It lives in the gym when your muscles burn and you keep pushing. It lives in the early mornings when you choose discipline over excuses. It lives in those difficult conversations when you speak truth instead of staying silent. Growth lives in the places most people avoid. Every breakthrough you want is on the other side of discomfort. That dream you have, that goal you're chasing, it doesn't exist inside your current routine. It exists outside your comfort zone. So the question isn't whether it's hard, the question is whether it's worth it. And if it's worth it, you better be ready to get uncomfortable. You better be ready to stretch, to struggle, to stumble sometimes, because that's part of the process. You don't just arrive at greatness, you grow into it step by painful step. People talk about a leveling up, some instant transformation. But leveling up means letting go of everything that doesn't serve you anymore. And that process isn't easy. It means outgrowing some friendships. It means breaking your own bad habits. It means saying no to shortcuts and distractions. That's hard. That's uncomfortable. But that's also how you rise. Every level requires a new standard. And every new standard demands a new set of sacrifices. You will never feel fully ready for the next level because you've never been there before. You'll feel the fear. You'll feel the doubt. You'll feel the urge to turn back. But if you lean into that discomfort instead of running from it, you'll find out what you're truly capable of. You'll uncover strength you didn't know you had. You'll discover clarity you couldn't find in ease. Discomfort clears the fog. It reveals the truth about who you are, and more importantly, who you can become. People see growth as a straight line, but it's messy. Some days you feel unstoppable. Other days you question everything. That's normal. That's real. Growth isn't about always getting it right. It's about showing up when it's hard. It's about choosing progress over perfection. It's about failing forward, stumbling upward, and learning from every misstep. The discomfort is not a sign you're off track. It's proof that you're pushing your boundaries. It's the evidence that you're evolving. And the only way to stay the same is to avoid that feeling. The only way to stay stuck is to stay comfortable. There's a difference between being broken and being built. Most people confuse the two because they both hurt. They both involve pressure, setbacks, and moments where everything feels like it's falling apart. But being broken leads to destruction, while being built leads to elevation. And what you're going through right now, that weight you feel, that pressure, that's not life trying to destroy you. It's life trying to develop you. Life isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. And preparation never feels gentle. It's not supposed to, because strength doesn't come from ease. It comes from resistance, from being challenged beyond what's comfortable. What feels like you're being torn apart is actually the process of becoming something stronger than you were before. When you lift weights, your muscles break down before they build back up. You don't gain strength without first creating tension and tiny tears in the muscle. That's how growth works. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. The process feels like breakdown, but it's actually the first step to breakthrough. You're not being dismantled for the sake of pain. You're being stripped of weakness, of comfort, of limitations you placed on yourself. Life is removing the parts of you that can't come with you to the next level. It's easy to see success from the outside and think people just arrived there, like they just woke up one day and had it all together. But you didn't see them when they were in the fire. You didn't see the nights they cried, the moments they doubted themselves, the times they wanted to quit. You didn't see them when life was hitting them with storm after storm. You just see the outcome. But the outcome was the result of being built through pain. And that's what you're going through right now. You're not being bent, you're being planted. And being planted feels like darkness, isolation, pressure. But that's where roots grow. That's where strength forms. That's where foundation is laid. Most people run from that place. They think, oh, why is this happening to me? Instead of realizing, oh, this is happening for me. Because building doesn't happen when everything is going your way. It happens when everything's falling apart and you still choose to get back up. It happens when you're broke, but you refuse to be broken. It happens when you're tired, but you keep showing up. It happens when nothing makes sense, but you trust the process anyway. You're being built every time you don't quit. Every time you push through the resistance. Every time you take another step when everything you said, stop. See, anybody can smile when the sun is shining. Anybody can be confident when they're winning. But can you be focused when you're losing? Can you stay disciplined when it's not paying off yet? Can you keep your vision when your circumstances are trying to blind you? That's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who fold. It's not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. And if you respond like a builder, you grow through it. If you respond like a victim, you stay stuck in it. When a builder sees something fall apart, they don't panic. They go to work. They know sometimes the structure has to be torn down to build something stronger in its place. That's what life is doing with you. It's rebuilding your foundation. It's reinforcing your values. It's helping you unlearn the habits and beliefs that got you here so you can learn the ones that will take you further. That's not punishment. That's progress. That's how character is forged. That's how greatness is built. Not in the spotlight, not on the stage, but in the shadow, in the quiet, in the struggle no one else sees. You're not being broken. You're being rebuilt, rewired, refined. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it's heavy. But heavy is the cost of carrying something meaningful. And what you're building, your purpose, your legacy, your strength is worth every ounce of it. Most people go through hard times asking the wrong question. They ask, oh, why me? As if life has something personal against them, as if their pain is a mistake or some cruel joke. But that mindset keeps you stuck. It keeps you in a cycle of blame, self-pity, and confusion. The real shift happens when you stop asking why it happened to you and start asking what it's trying to teach you. Because every situation, no matter how painful, has a lesson. And the lesson is the key to your growth, your strength, and your transformation. Life doesn't just throw things at you randomly. There's meaning to miss, but you got to be willing to search for it. That lesson might be about patience. It might be about resilience. It might be about letting go, trusting more, grinding harder, or thinking deeper. Whatever it is, if you miss the lesson, you miss the reason. And if you miss the reason, you repeat the cycle. See, life has a way of sending you the same kind of pain over and over until you finally learn what it's trying to show you. Different faces, different places, same pattern. That's not bad luck, that's unlearned wisdom. And the longer you ignore it, the louder it gets. That's why you've got to stop reacting emotionally and start responding intentionally. Ask the hard questions. What did this moment expose in me? What weakness did it reveal? What blind spot did it shine a light on? That pain you're feeling is feedback. It's information. It's trying to get your attention. And once you learn how to listen to it, everything changes. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start becoming a student of your life. When you shift into that mindset, you take back your power. You stop waiting for life to be easy and you start working with what life gives you. You stop wasting time blaming others and you start building yourself. Pain becomes your teacher, not your enemy. Failure becomes a stepping stone, not a wall, and struggle becomes fuel instead of frustration. That shift doesn't come easy. It requires humility. It takes self-awareness. It takes courage to look in the mirror and admit that sometimes the real problem isn't what happened. It's how you responded. It's not about guilt or shame. It's about ownership, because you can't fix what you don't face. You can't grow past what you won't admit. And life will keep putting you in situations that force you to face it until you finally decide to learn from it. That mindset shift from a why me to what is this teaching me creates a new kind of focus. You stop obsessing over what went wrong and start focusing on how to rise from it. You stop complaining about how unfair it is and start figuring out how to become better because of it. That's when the pressure becomes productive. That's when a setback becomes strategy. That's when you realize that every struggle has a seed of strength hidden inside it. You just have to be willing to dig deep enough to find it. You got to train yourself to look for meaning, not just relief. Don't just ask life to be easier, ask yourself to be wiser. Don't just ask for the pain to stop. Ask what the pain is pointing to. What are you supposed to see that you've been ignoring? What are you supposed to confront that you've been running from? Because getting it is one thing, keeping it is another. And that's why the delay matters. It teaches you how to endure. It teaches you how to be faithful with little before you're given more. It teaches you how to show up even when it's quiet, even when no one is clapping for you, even when nothing is going viral. That kind of discipline is what separates those who rise and fall quickly from those who build something that lasts. The delay is where real leaders are made. It's where unshakable foundations are built. It's where grit, perseverance, and faith are forged. You're not waiting for no reason. You're not being held back. You're being held up until the time and the conditions and your mindset align. So when the door opens, you're not just walking in with a dream. You're walking in with the discipline, the focus, and the strength to handle it. You don't just want a moment of success. You want longevity. You want legacy. And that can't be rushed. That has to be earned. One day, one step, one silent season at a time. There's something powerful about survival that people often overlook. We talk a lot about winning, succeeding, achieving, but we don't talk enough about the strength it takes just to make it through. To wake up, get up, and show up when everything in you wants to shut down. To carry pain, fear, loss, uncertainty, and still keep moving. Surviving doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're a fighter. It means that despite everything thrown at you, every disappointment, every betrayal, every storm, you're still standing. And that alone is proof that your purpose is not finished. If life was done with you, you wouldn't be here. But the fact that you're breathing, the fact that you've made it through what others didn't, tells you one thing: you still have work to do. There are moments you thought would break you, moments that brought you to your knees. Nights you cried yourself to say, wow. Days when the weight felt too heavy to carry. And yet here you are. You made it through. Maybe not untouched, maybe not unchanged, but definitely undefeated. And that matters. That speaks volumes about the strength within you. Strength you may not even realize you have, because you've been so busy surviving that you haven't stopped to acknowledge your resilience. You've endured what some people would have given up on. You held on when it would have been easier to let go. That's not by accident. That's by design. Life doesn't allow weak vessels to carry heavy purposes. If your journey has been heavy, if your path has been filled with struggle, it's because the weight of your purpose is great. The people with the most pain often carry the most power. The people who've suffered the deepest wounds are often the ones who heal others. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They're symbols of endurance. They're proof that you've been through the fire and came out stronger, not untouched, but transformed. Because survival doesn't just protect your life. It strengthens your character. It gives you empathy. It gives you perspective. It gives you the kind of wisdom that only comes from living through what others only fear. Too often we underestimate the quiet strength it takes to keep going, to wake up and face another day, to work a job while chasing a dream, to take care of others while dealing with your own storms. But that strength, your strength, is exactly what makes you unstoppable. You don't need everything to be perfect. You don't need everything to make sense. You just need to keep showing up, because every step you take, every time you refuse to give up, you're walking in purpose, whether you feel it or not. Your consistency is your testimony. Your endurance is your legacy. The world may not have celebrated you for surviving, but that's only because they don't know the full story. They don't know what it took for you to keep going. They didn't see the battles you fought in silence, but one day they will. One day your story will inspire others. One day your survival will be someone else's survival guide. Your pain will become someone else's path to healing. That's why you had to go through it. That's why you couldn't quit, because your story doesn't end in suffering. It evolves into significance. You are more than what happened to you. You are more than the trauma, more than the losses, more than the setbacks. You are what you decided to do with all of it. You are the strength that grew from the struggle. You are the clarity that came out of confusion. You are the voice that refused to be silenced by the weight of circumstance. And every breath you take is evidence that there's more for you, more growth, more impact, more purpose. You didn't make it through everything just to exist. You made it through because your presence is part of someone else's breakthrough. Your life is not random. Your survival is not meaningless. It's marked with purpose, with vision, with a mission that's bigger than you. You didn't endure all of that to stay silent, to stay small, to stay safe. You endured so that you could rise and lead others through what you've already conquered. Because your strength wasn't just built for you, it was built for the lives you'll touch along the way, so now you stand. Not as a victim of your past, but as a product of your perseverance. Not defined by the pain, but refined by it. Not broken by the journey, but built every step of it. And if life thought you were finished, it would have ended you already. But you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, still becoming. That means your story isn't over, it's just getting started. So rise with purpose, walk with power, and live like everything that tried to stop you only sharpened the weapon you were born to be. Just everything happened for a reason.